What's up, guys? Welcome to the third episode of Keeping Up with the Commanders. Today we have on George Carmi. Hello and welcome.
What's up, Mason? How you doing today, man? You doing all right?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Can't complain, man. It's another, Saturday, day before Super Bowl, feeling
Yeah,
pretty good. Looking
Super
forward
Bowl
to the game,
weekend.
and yeah, can't complain, man. It's a good weekend, It's going good.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, so I just want to ask you here, what are your initial thoughts when you first heard on February 2nd the name is going to be Commanders, and you saw all the jerseys, the logos, the pretty much the complete rebrand officially?
hmm
What would you rate that, and what are your initial thoughts here? What would you rate it out of 10?
So for one, I was relieved because it was taking a long time. I don't know how you felt about it, Mason, but 2 years is constantly hearing about the name, people debating back and forth. It definitely was tiring. So I was like, you know what? I'm just glad we're finally done with it. I'm kind of blessed, man. I've been kind of working like behind the scenes and kind of digging real deep with Washington. And someone told me like a good 5, 6 months ago during the NFL draft that Commanders was the leading candidate. So for a very long time, I kind of knew that Commanders was going to be the name, but it was kind of like you had that inkling of doubt, right? You didn't really know if like Jason Wright was going to throw a curveball or if my source wasn't necessarily the most accurate one. So I was definitely kind of nervous about that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of liked Commanders at first, and I don't really mind it now. But like, I'm from the DMV, I'm from Maryland, so basically, I wanted some sort of DC centric name, and so yeah, I was kind of happy with that. As it came out, like, and I kind of saw the negative reactions with Commanders afterwards, and I don't know if it's because the name wasn't really the greatest name in the world, or maybe like people are just kind of unused to change. So I'll give it honestly maybe about a 7 out of 10 is what I'd say, because you have to have some sort of like name that's like I wouldn't say generic, but like a basic name that's easily identifiable to the region. And then also something that you can't like nitpick and like 5, 10, 20 years from now, be like, hey, you know what? This is there's an aggressive name or a insensitive name or something like that. So the Commanders was a solid name. I was blessed though. I went to the park and party, the party, I guess, so down on FedEx Field,
Mm-hmm.
and that made me really confident, man. Because I'm always going to root for Washington. Like I'm a Washington City guy. There's like Washington Redskins previously and Washington football team. It doesn't really matter what the nickname was for me as long as it was representing my city of Washington. So I was always going to follow the team. But going to the park and party is a lot of fun. Awesome alumni were there. Good positive energy. Everyone was really happy. Got some cool gear while I was there. Feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's cool, man. So and walking away from that, I was pretty happy with everything. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Yeah.
How do you feel? Were you happy with the name? Or how do you feel about it?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of knew as well since once President Biden named his dog Commander. I think it was kind of obvious
Okay,
once
coming
he
that
did
way.
that. Yeah, but also there's all these people on Twitter saying, "Oh, I from this reliable source and stuff, it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
Admirals or it's gonna be Wolves before Wolves knocked out." And so it was definitely a little bit confusing, but I had my eyes
Mm-hmm.
set on Commanders even
Mm-hmm.
after the Wolves were knocked out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because overall I wanted the Wolves, but
Okay.
they uh I was like, okay, Commanders is fine. I got used to it and stuff, and I would definitely agree. Yeah, 7 out of 10. Definitely some minor things here and there, but overall, it's not bad. Like,
Yeah, it's not bad. I
yeah.
think it's really uncomfortable at first. As time goes on, we'll be fine. Like the way I think about like Raiders, Buccaneers, like Cowboys, there's kind of like just general basic names. And Commanders actually has authority, right? And if you actually look at our division, it's like Commanders, we can like arrest and we can like catch up Cowboys and stuff like that. We actually have some authority behind us. So I kind of like that. So it's cool. We can roll
Mhm.
with
Yeah,
it.
also when people like at my school and stuff the day that they named it, people were saying, "Oh, it's such a bad name," and I keep on telling them there's professional teams out there named the Athletics, the teams named after colors of socks.
Yeah, exactly
So
right.
this is not bad at all, and I definitely agree. But it's definitely pretty solid.
Yeah, it's not
But
bad.
overall, though, it's gonna be it wouldn't really matter if we don't win, and
100%.
that's definitely going to be a key part here. I've heard I talked with Keith Huck from Keith the
Keith
other
Gray.
last
Yeah, I love
Keith
Keith.
Gray
Me and him
last
are friends.
yeah
Yeah.
last weekend. He was saying how Washington, knowing Dan Snyder and stuff, to show the new name and show like what the new rebrand is about, we're gonna have to bring in a top tier, very, very well known quarterback.
I
And
agree.
that was his thoughts. What are your thoughts here? How about you list your top three priorities for Washington this offseason?
Yeah, so first of all, I agree with Keith, right? This year is very important for Washington because if we don't actually get off on the right foot, like this is the year we're either going to win fans or lose fans, right? So we come out and just lay an egg and we're like 4-13 and it's ugly and Ron Rivera gets fired. Like we're not commanding anything, right? We're coming off as a really like kind of a weak team. We're not really becoming off like a tough, like inspirational team. So I do agree with Keith. We do need to have a quarterback to kind of set the right foot forward and kind of get our team on its legs, right? So I agree with him there. In regard to our three positions, the top three, I definitely agree that quarterback is number one. I like Heineke. He was a serviceable quarterback. He did the right thing. But he's a placeholder. Like he overachieved, which that's why the fan base loved him. But he's not someone you build around, and he's not someone that takes you to that next level. Like we actually watched, like for me, I don't know if I'm sure you watched the playoff game, but like
Yeah.
for me, the biggest game that like just opened my eyes was when Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are going at it in the AFC divisional game. And it's like, dude,
Mhm.
those guys are super. Like those guys are like awesome.
Yeah.
Like they can improvise. They're awesome. So they can basically just take the games over. And it's like we can play like sound, protecting the ball and running the clock and stuff like that. But they can bring the at 13 seconds, Patrick Mahomes can drive down the field and
Yeah.
score. So it's like
Mhm.
we need someone like that. So I agree. I think we should definitely take our shots at quarterback. And if you want to talk about that in a second, we can. So quarterback's
Yeah.
definitely number one.
Mhm.
I think a middle linebacker is another one. We need that centerpiece in that middle linebacker position.
Mhm.
People are talking about drafting Nakobe Dean at 11 or whatever. Like for me, I think it'd be nice to have I don't want to get a linebacker in the first round. I think it's like
Yeah. I
with
don't
a
either.
top 11 pick, I think you can take something more valuable, like a quarterback, hopefully, or
Mhm.
you get a wide receiver, something that's like someone that like can really change the game. That's what I'm kind of looking for at pick 11. So middle linebacker, I want like a veteran free agent, kind of plug him there. And the rest is kind of like up in the air. Like for me, cornerback's an issue. Like I love Benjamin St. Juste, but basically, he was had concussions. He has a history of concussions. Like, is he going to continue to have that throughout his career? Kendall Fuller and William Jackson are pretty solid, but if we have one more awesome one, that'd be great. Antonio Gibson, I love the guy, but at the same time, he's kind of proven to be injury prone. It'd be kind of nice to have a backup running back to kind of like, McKissick's a third down back, but like a hammer, almost like
Yeah.
an AJ
Yeah.
Dillon, Aaron Jones combination, and Green Bay. You can have that balance here
Mhm.
in DC.
One,
So,
two
I
punch.
think, yeah, probably awesome, right? I love that. Like,
Mhm.
exactly. So two
Yeah.
types of like type of backs. So for me, I like quarterback, I like middle linebacker. Um, and then I guess the last one, maybe even wide receiver. I think if I could pick three, wide receiver would be my third, because I do like Curtis Samuel. But for me, I've been following football my whole life, and it's like you can't operate with the fact that like Curtis Samuel's going to come back and be great next year. You have to operate where you have no idea what's going to happen. It's like a plan for him not
Yeah.
to be there, and if he does come back, it's a bonus, which he probably will. But if you have, Terry McLaurin, like one of those awesome Alabama wide receivers that, top 11 pick right there at the wide receiver two, Curtis Samuel in the slot. Then we have Antonio Gibson. We're starting to cook a little bit. We started to have some weapons. So kind of looking for that.
Yeah. I definitely agree with quarterback here.
Mm-hmm.
And quarterback, yeah, quarterback's probably my number one because if we don't have a quarterback, we're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah,
And number
100%.
two, yeah, number two definitely would be middle linebacker because that's basically the quarterback for your defense. He's
Mm-hmm.
going to call your plays, but I wouldn't really want a rookie linebacker, like you said, because they gotta. At this point, our defense here. I mean, we can win. We're I would say we're a quarterback away of winning and
Mm-hmm.
like
I
winning and
agree.
making maybe a playoff run. So the linebacker needs to know how to call plays, and I don't know if a rookie will be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Nakobe Dean, like you said, is definitely incredible in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure if he's going to make some mistakes and stuff. I don't think we can risk that. So I'll definitely go after a veteran linebacker. And then number three, wide receiver, yeah, definitely an issue, but I'd probably say somewhere on the defensive side, like in the secondary, cornerback or
There you go.
safety,
Yeah, that makes sense.
because yeah, because Landon Collins is not. I don't. He's not a free agent this year, right?
He has one more year, I believe, or maybe I think he
Yeah,
has 2 more years, but $14 million per year is pretty expensive to be honest with you. So that's his problem.
yeah. Hmm. And so he's more of also a downhill safe linebacker safety thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really count him as a safety anymore, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm hoping we can trade him maybe this offseason. I don't think we will, but
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we can. So maybe a safety or cornerback for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't see us taking a safety or cornerback in with the 11th pick because I just don't see there's anyone really good enough besides Kyle Hamilton. But
Exactly.
Kyle Hamilton's going to go top five. I'd
I
be
agree.
shocked if he doesn't.
I
And
agree.
so, yeah. and then back to the wide receiver spot. The taking a wide receiver at 11 is a little bit risky. Maybe I would trade down back like 5, 6 picks maybe for a
Mm-hmm.
wide receiver, because if we take a wide receiver at 11, I have a good feeling that we're going to be taking the first wide receiver, and I don't really think that we're going to need one of the first wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Jamison Williams, yeah, and he's one of those Alabama receivers that you
Yeah.
mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
and he's definitely pretty good and stuff, but I don't really like him as coming into Washington. I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking maybe at Drake London or Jahan Dotson,
So the bigger
one of
guys.
those, one of the
Mm-hmm.
bigger guys to come in and
Mm-hmm.
match up with Terry McLaurin, because then you have two big guys plus Curtis Samuel, who's already kind of your kind of fast, but not.
Like a
I
burner
mean,
kind of
like,
guy. I can see
yeah,
that.
he
Yeah,
can
for sure.
he
Yeah.
can be your burner, and so yeah, basically. John
No, fair
Mechie as
point.
well, the other Alabama guy. I don't really see him going in the first round. I would be kind of shocked if he were, because there's so many wide receivers. Another one, Traylon Burks. There's
Mm-hmm.
there's so many wide receivers in this class that are just
Now I'm
absolutely
with you.
incredible.
I'm with you, and that's why I kind of, for me, like an ideal situation, I kind of want to get a quarterback at a number. Like for me,
Mhm.
I want to use the first round pick on a quarterback or trading it away for a quarterback. So I want to do with the first round pick.
Oh yes.
So maybe like the 42nd pick or whatever, 42nd, 43rd, whatever our second round pick is. One
Mhm.
of those wide receivers you just mentioned is going to slip a little bit. And if you get one of those in the
Oh yeah.
second round, that'd be kind of nice. That'd be some great value, I think.
Mhm.
That'd be
I
awesome.
definitely yeah. I definitely could see John Mechie slipping to us, and we could
Match is
definitely
awesome. I love him.
yeah
He's
get him
fun,
there.
explosive, man, for
So
sure. Yeah,
mhm,
100%.
yeah. All right, so quarterback here. You said maybe take one at 11 and trade it away. Who's your ideal quarterback here starting week 1 for Washington?
Oh man, so basically, I've been preaching this for a while. I know it's like a kind of optimistic and realistically never going to happen, but I've always liked Russell Wilson, man. I liked him a lot. It's
Mhm.
just funny, man. Like
Okay.
going back to 2012, basically, like I that was a whole RG3, Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson class, and all three of them were competitive. And I really loved Griffin, obviously, but
Mhm.
Russell Wilson was the one that was having that all the credibility, and he's the one that went to the Super Bowl and stuff like that. So there was a rivalry between Russell Wilson and Griffin. As time went on, I started to respect Russell Wilson more because I think he can do it all. I think he can command a run first offense like Marshawn Lynch and Chris Carson. He can do that. He can lead an explosive offense, like let Russ cook with DK Metcalf and all these other wide receivers that he had. But he can also, he's clutch. He's more of a fourth quarter mobile quarterback. It'll be awesome to have. So, like for me, he can do all that. He's 33. He, realistically 5 years of playing time left. He said he wants to play 10 more. We'll see if he can do that. But basically, he does have like 5, 8 years projected ahead of him, hopefully. And I think that, like, he would like bring fans back into the seats, bring free agents
Mhm.
into Washington, and make it more interesting here. Like, he would be my dream scenario because I think he would be a good ambassador for the team.
Yeah.
Do I think we're going to get him? No, I don't think we're going to get him at all. I love it, but I don't think it's going to happen. So realistically, I see us kind of going the rookie route or maybe like a placeholder, like Mitch Trubisky's on the table or Garoppolo's on the table, and we could talk about that. I want to hear what you think. I want to hear what you think.
Yeah.
I think about that too. I'm not a huge fan, but realistically, I would prefer to take a shot at a rookie. Like, if that's going to be the case, Pickett and Willis, those are my two favorite. Corral's not that far behind for me. Pickett's the most pro ready. I think he can
Yeah.
basically lead an offense. He can throw with anticipation. He can, he's
Mhm.
pretty accurate as well. So I really like him a lot. But then again, like we talked about that Josh Allen Mahomes thing, Malik Willis has that little it
Yeah.
factor, man, that X factor. So I'm excited. But I don't know if you watch film, Mason, but like his film's all over the place. Like one
Oh yeah.
game, Willis will be
It's
freaking awesome, and one game he'll be like, "What the hell did you just do?" So that's a
mhm.
scary part with him. So we're
Yeah.
kind of, I kind of want to go. I mean, Russell Wilson will be my first like ideal pick. Wouldn't mind trading first round picks. If not, Pickett or Willis.
Yeah, for sure. And going back to Russell Wilson a little bit,
Yep.
he's definitely my number one. Will we trade for him? No. But if we do, I would not mind giving up two first and 2 seconds and Payne. There's a
Yeah,
lot of two first, a second, and Payne, but at the end of the day, we're not going to be able to sign all of these defensive
I
linemen.
agree.
So
I
we got to
agree.
get rid of some of them somehow.
Hmm.
Also, if we do bring in Russell Wilson, I would say we'd have to do it pretty quickly, like within the next few weeks, if we want to bring in more free agents because of him. Because all the big free agents will be getting signed
Yeah, March
elsewhere.
16th, I believe, is the open
Yeah,
free agency. So we have like pretty much like 1 month till everything opens up.
yeah. And so that's I don't think so. I don't know if you've seen the videos and stuff. There was one of them. I think Russell Wilson was on a
Like
radio
yesterday,
show or
Mad Dog
something.
Sports. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot what it was, but so the host of it mentioned Washington, and he did like that little smile thing, and I don't know. I mean, I guess he knows, but I'm not sure
Yeah,
if that was a
it
good
was
or bad
funny. I
thing.
saw that tweet too. As so was Mad Dog Sports, and apparently someone's like, I think Rio Robinson was like, "Oh, he looks like a little girl with a crusher or something like that." It was kind of cool. So I don't mind that at all. And for me, just the fact that he's hearing it, I love that. It's just keep
Hmm.
putting Washington in his ear, and hopefully something happens, and hopefully he'll bite.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
so it'll be cool. It'll be awesome.
Hmm. Yeah, he's definitely my number one. Going to the
Mm-hmm.
draft here, I have seen some of Malik Willis's film, and I don't like him that much because
Mm-hmm.
he's
Mm-hmm.
just he's either really accurate or really not accurate. So
100%. Yeah.
yeah, his decisions are really good or really, really bad. So that's yeah, I definitely with the 11th pick, I'll draft Kenny Pickett for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because we're kind of in a win, no, not in a win now state, but we're getting really close to a win now because we have all those pieces building around the quarterback position with McLaurin and stuff, and also we've re-signed Charles Leno on the
Mm-hmm.
defense stuff. We got Kendall Fuller and the entire defensive line,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's basically my thoughts. Also going to the Mitch Trubisky, Jimmy Garoppolo thing. I don't like either of them at all,
Mm-hmm.
really. Trubisky, I have no clue why we would sign him.
Mm-hmm.
We're go back to the fill up seats and stuff with Wilson. He's the complete opposite.
I
He
agree. I agree with you with that. Keep going.
he
I want to hear what you
will
have to say.
get
Keep
rid.
going. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he will make people leave than actually come.
Yeah.
So that's definitely not going to be our guy. And Garoppolo, if we had to do one of those two, I would choose Garoppolo
I
because
agree.
he has more experience than Trubisky, and of course, he learned for many years. He was under Tom Brady's wing. He knows he has a lot of intelligence. Just his
Mm-hmm.
execution is not always there.
I
So
agree.
that's the part that I worry about
That's a great
Garoppolo.
analysis. I agree with you. So same thing with you, man. I agree. I think of the two, I'd rather take Garoppolo because I think Garoppolo does give us respectability like nationwide. If we're like, all right, we have Jimmy
Mhm.
Garoppolo. You saw what he did with the 49ers. He's pretty stable. He can, right the ship. He has some
Yeah.
championship pedigree with the Patriots. He's pretty solid. So I wouldn't mind having, he beat the Cowboys. So the Cowboy fans can be, oh, you have Garoppolo. We beat you in the playoffs. Like, you can we talk trash about that? The
Mhm.
only thing that's just discouraging and the difference is that Garoppolo will cost something and Trubisky will not. And I think the reason why people like Trubisky is I think Trubisky's only 26 or 25. He's pretty young still.
Yeah.
And he is playing with Sean McDermott for Buffalo. And Sean McDermott used to be
Hmm.
Ron Rivera's defensive coordinator. And I believe there's some front office people that also for the Carolina Panthers in Buffalo still. So like there is that pipeline. There's that old boy friend club. So I think they're watching Mitch Trubisky. They're seeing him day to day. They might be kind of talking to Ron and be like, hey, Ron, this guy isn't that bad. Maybe that's why he would bite. But Trubisky led to the Bears to the playoffs twice. He made the Pro Bowl one time. I don't
He
necessarily think
did.
he's a great player. I don't. Yeah, but it's Pro Bowl, whatever. You know what the Pro Bowl is like now after watching the other day. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think Trubisky is great. I don't really want him in DC. Like for me, it's like if you get Trubisky, I'd rather have a quarterback, a rookie quarterback starting instead of him. But
Hmm.
I'll take Garoppolo, but maybe third round pick. I'll feel pretty bad giving away a second round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. I'll be pretty pricey for
Hmm.
me.
Yeah, what would you give pick wise? Of course, because most likely would be picks. What would you give for Trubisky?
Trubisky's an unrestricted free agent.
Oh,
That's the one.
I didn't.
That's the
Oh,
one like appeal to him because
oh wow.
basically
I thought
like
you were gonna
it's
say.
like Trubisky's for free. Garoppolo, you have to give away a second round pick. Are they really that different from each other? And that's why you keep hearing Trubisky over and over again because like
Yeah,
he's a free of option that has Carolina ties and he's like good or
yeah,
potentially good. So we'll see. But
yeah.
I just don't know how much
That makes
better
a
he
lot of
is in
sense.
Heineke. And I don't really know how you. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he's that much better than Heineke.
I agree.
Maybe he has a higher ceiling than
Hmm.
Heineke, but the chances of hitting that ceiling is very low.
I agree.
Yeah. So now I kind of want to switch gears a little bit and talk about here for young people like me who want to get into the sports media business. Of course, you used to work for Sports Illustrated and
Hmm.
you now work for Full Press, I believe, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. And so for people like me who are in high school right now and want to have a job or a career in sports media
Mm-hmm.
business, what would be your top advice to people like us?
So it's going to be continue working, right? It's going to be a
Mhm.
long ride, but it's going to be a really fun ride when it's all said and done. So just to give you some background, I grew up in Montgomery County. I don't know, are you in Virginia or where are you at?
Yeah, I'm in Virginia.
Yes, I live in Montgomery County, Maryland. And basically, I went to Rockville High School. And believe it or not, like I came from the same area as Pete Haley, and I actually know Pete
Okay.
Haley as well from NBC Sports
Yeah.
Washington. Basically, we wrote for the Rockville Rampage. So did Pete, which is like our school newspaper. So I wrote for the school
Mhm.
newspaper for a couple of years, and that was my favorite class. Like my senior year, my junior
Yeah.
senior year, we had journalism one, journalism two. I started writing for the newspaper and really started to grow a passion for it. To the point where I went to University of Maryland, and actually my freshman and sophomore year, I actually was a journalism major, started to continue to study in journalism. My junior and senior year, I kind of transitioned to another career choice, actually became like an educator, got into teaching. But I always loved basically, writing. That was always a passion of mine. And I always loved sports. Like you, man, Mason, like when I was like in eighth grade, there was like an eighth grade graduation video, like, say what's your favorite dream growing up? Like, what do you want to be? And I was like, I want to be on ESPN. I want to be an ESPN broadcaster. Like, that was my, like,
Mhm.
I still have it. George Carmi, want to be ESPN broadcaster. And so basically what happened was I saw an ad pop up on Twitter and say, who wants to write for the web page, who wants to I'm looking for writers for Washington. And I volunteered, just full press coverage. And
Mhm.
I started writing and writing and writing. And it was fun. I was, asking players some questions and trying to get some interviews and things like that. And then eventually I got into this series called like a throwback series. It was like a throwback series where
Yeah.
like Wilbur Marshall and Art Monk and Gary Clark, and that got a lot of traction, a lot of like retweets. People really liked them. Luckily, I was blessed, and Chris Russell saw it, and Rick Snyder saw it. I don't know if you know who they are, but they're writers and they're local media guys around here.
Mhm.
And Chris Russell was the head of Sports Illustrated in the DC branch here. He's like, "Hey, George,
Yeah.
I want to get some new perspective. You want to join my writing team?" So I was like, "Dude, hell yeah, man!" So basically, I joined Sports Illustrated. I started writing for about a year and a half, and that was an adrenaline rush, man. It was writing, and it was like big people commenting on your writing. Like there were some
Mhm.
articles that I wrote where I got like 100,000 views and some crazy stuff. Like I never thought it would ever happen to me. So that was fun, and basically, and I really enjoyed that ride. So that's kind of my the way that I got here. But my
Yeah.
advice would be just work hard, make sure your facts are straight, right? Whenever you are
Mhm.
putting in information in your articles or whenever you're doing podcasts, people are gonna they want to learn from you. And if your facts aren't straight, they're not going to believe you, right? So they're going to be like, oh,
Right.
he said it was like 4-time champion, but he's only a 3-time champion, or passed for 200
Mhm.
yards, whatever it is. Basically, make sure your facts are straight, and then also be willing to learn. Like basically, for me, I know for a fact, like my limitation is I'm not a huge college guy. Like I know
Mhm.
Washington inside now. You can ask me about the third guard and all this stuff. I know all of it,
Yeah.
right? But in regard to colleges, I'm like, you know what? Like I want to learn from people. So when I have a
Mhm.
podcast now, I invite people over, I'll ask college experts and I'll frame it that way. I'm not a know-it-all. Like, hey man, like you are the expert. I want to learn from you. Tell the fans what you know and to sit back and learn. That's how you get better, because you're learning
Right.
from them over and over again. So when you can have intelligent conversations. Let me think of one or two more. Be timely. Like, if you ever start
Yeah.
working for somebody and they're like, hey,
Mhm.
hey Mason, I want your article done, 3 p.m. this day, turn it at 2 p.m. that day or 1 p.m. that day. Just kind of get it done and make sure you're reliable and
Mhm.
basically trustworthy, because then the better stories will start coming your way. If they're like, hey, Mason, Clinton Portis or something, is like just whatever, or like Santana
Yeah.
Moss is at the mall. We want you to interview him. Can you go interview him and send us back an article in 2 hours? Yes, you can trust me. And they will, and they'll let you do it.
Mhm.
And then
Okay.
finally, take your shots, man. Like this is actually something I'm learning now, and something that Rio taught me. Me and Rio were actually pretty close. Rio Robinson,
Mhm.
and I saw him, and he was like, "Hey George, don't worry about your numbers initially, right? When you're doing your YouTube channel, when you're doing your views, if it's low, don't ever be discouraged. If it's like 30, 40
Mhm.
views, 20 views, 100 views, like just keep grinding, and then don't be afraid to take your shots. Like just throw like."
Mhm.
Hey, Julie Donaldson, are you willing to be on my show? Hey, Charles Leno, can I interview you? Hey, whatever, just throw it out there, and you'll be surprised who actually will say yes. And then when you say yes, and you start hitting those interviews, and you're doing the right thing, basically, people trust you, and when you get trust, then
Mhm.
you can basically become a bigger broadcaster. So those are definitely
Yeah.
things to look forward to, man.
Thank you so much for the advice, and thank you so much for coming on too. It was a great talk, and thank you guys for watching another episode of Keeping Up with the Commanders. I have all the links in the description for George Carmi's socials and also Full Press as well if you want to follow them as well. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one. Peace.